Why play Nidalee Jungle? Well, as the meta changes, she's consistently strong. She's able to snowball and hypercarry games with ease, she brings tons of burst damage, and she's incredibly mobile. However, she doesn't bring any CC at all, and relying purely on damage does mean she struggles when behind. Nidalee's passive gives her movement speed when moving through brush, which is increased when moving towards an enemy champion. Her second passive is when hitting Q or W while in human form marks the enemy, which grants true sight and gives her passive movement speed towards that champion. Nidalee starts the game with her ultimate, which allows her to change between her human and cougar form with a 3-second cooldown. While in human form, hitting her Q or W refreshes the ultimate cooldown and she's a ranged champion, where in cougar form she is a melee champion. Nidalee's human Q throws a spear which deals increased damage the further it's travelled. While in cougar form, the Q is an auto attack reset which will deal additional damage the lower the health of the target. Nidalee's human W places an invisible trap which when walked over will deal damage. While in cougar form, she jumps a small distance which will deal damage to anything in the area. This can also be used to jump over many of the smaller walls in the game. If the target's been marked by her human form Q or W, she will have increased range on her W to jump onto them. Nidalee's human form E heals a friendly champion and grants them a large amount of attack speed. In cougar form, she claws all enemies in a cone in front of her, dealing damage. For Nidalee's basic burst combo, you want to land your spear and then change into cougar form. Use the increased range on your jump before using E, auto attack into a Q. Nidalee is a great burst damage assassin jungler, so she does very well into matchups like these where she can find them and burst them out. However, being squishy herself, she can struggle against hard engage and team fighters like these champions. For Masteries, take this. Dark Harvest just makes your burst better as the game goes on. For build orders, start Blue Pet and a Pot, before getting tier 2 boots, Night Harvester and a Shadow Flame. Follow this up with a Zhonya's, Hat and Void Staff. In addition, any of these are good situationally. For skill orders, start Q, then W, then E, before maxing Q, then E, then W, taking ult whenever you can. For summoner spells, take Flash and Smite. Starting the game, you do have a very fast jungle clear, so you normally want to do a full clear into contesting Scuttle Crab. If the opposing jungler does try to contest your Scuttle Crab, if you're able to land a spear from Fog of War, you'll usually be able to burst them dead before they can respond. From here, you can now look to gank. When ganking, always consider the 3 main points of what CC does your team bring, what escapes does your enemy have, and where is the lane pushed to. For Nidalee, the difference between a successful gank and a failed one is landing your spear. The best way to guarantee this is if your lane has any CC, wait for them to lock down the opponent, making landing your spear incredibly easy. Once landed, you're able to simply jump onto them with your long range jump, bursting them out. Alternatively, if you're able to just walk into the lane, simply walk up to them and start attacking. This makes landing your spear much easier and saves your jump if they flash or dash away. Entering the mid game, you're looking to snowball your early game. Nidalee's insane mobility allows her to invade and look for picks with ease, especially if she's backed up by teammates. Keep up aggressive wards, hunt down picks and convert into objectives. Entering late game team fights, Nidalee can be played in 2 different ways. Firstly, and a decent default, is to play a bit more like a support mage. Your spears deal massive damage and your traps deal a good amount too, and also mark potential targets. Also, your heal will give your ADC a huge amount of attack speed which will amplify their damage to the moon. Otherwise, you want to play the assassin role. Sit on the enemy's flanks until after the fight has started and look to land a spear on something important. Following this, jump in, blow them up and rely on your Zhonya's to keep yourself safe.